Alright guys, this is Kieran here with another episode of Kieran's Movie Space, and in this episode of the podcast I'm going to be reviewing a new romantic comedy that everyone's been talking about, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Before we get started with this review, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more movie reviews, breakdowns and rankings. To All the Boys I've Loved Before is currently available to watch on Netflix. It's directed by Susan Johnson and it stars Lana Condor as Lara Jean, who's written 5 love letters to all the boys she's loved in her life, which includes the most popular guy in school and her sister's long-term boyfriend. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll just say that the letters do find their way out into the world, the guys get the letters, and Lara Jean is forced to deal with the consequences of those letters getting out. Like I said, this is a film that's getting a lot of attention online. I personally hadn't heard about it before I watched it, but obviously it showed up at the top of Netflix, and I decided to give it a watch. And I've got to say that I was pleasantly surprised. I kind of went into this film expecting a poorly written and badly acted film, kind of like all the Disney Channel movies, but I was surprised to find a really funny and a really smart rom-com with a decent cast and a unique story. Probably the highlight of this film for me was the cast, just because they all had a really great dynamic and the relationships between the characters felt authentic. Lana Condor is fantastic as the film's lead, and there's a really fun dynamic between Lara Jean, her sisters, and their father, and then obviously you get the relationships between Lara Jean and the guys that received the letters, and the 2 main guys in this film do a really good job as well. Noah Centineo is the male lead of the film. There are a few guys in this movie obviously, but he's the male lead, and his performance was a standout for me, and I was surprised to see that Susan Johnson didn't make him the typical jock. His character Peter feels like a real person. He feels like an authentic person who's not just this one thing. He's a lot of different things. He is the jock, but he's got a lot of personal issues going on. He's quite a sensitive guy, so I liked that he wasn't the typical douchebag that we see in these romantic comedies. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this movie was the way that it gave you a look at high school life, because that's a really awkward and it's a really strange time for kids, and this film really shows that. To All the Boys I've Loved Before does get really embarrassing at times, and you're just squirming in your seat because it's just so embarrassing and it's so awkward. But that's one of the best things about this movie, because I certainly remember moments from high school where I'd just be so embarrassed about something I'd done, and I was a bit awkward as well, so I really enjoyed that aspect of the film. And then I also really liked that the film did go a little bit cheesy at times. It does get a bit mushy, and this is a really cheesy, heartwarming film, and it walks the line of being not too cheesy but just cheesy enough, and that worked for me because it felt real and it made sense when you looked at the characters and the situation. It wasn't awkward and cheesy for no reason. The film just brought that in naturally, and it just worked overall for this film. The direction is also really good. I really enjoyed the way that Susan Johnson shot the film, and this movie just looked beautiful. This is a nicely shot film with bright colours, and I think Johnson did a really good job, especially when you think that she could have just gone the easy way around and shot certain scenes in the easiest way, but she made sure to give the film an identity and to add these colours, and that all comes together to bring this film to life and to give it this unique identity and this unique style. To get onto some of the negatives, I will say that To All the Boys I've Loved Before is predictable, especially if you've seen a lot of rom-coms, which admittedly I have. It follows a lot of the same narrative rules as other films in the genre, and you never really doubt that Lara Jean's love life will work itself out at the end. The film also feels just a little bit too long. There's a few sequences that don't really feel necessary to the story, and I think that if they'd been taken out, this film could have just flowed that little bit better. Overall though, To All the Boys I've Loved Before is a wonderfully heartfelt, feel-good romantic comedy, and I don't think it's possible to watch this film and not have a good time. It's the perfect movie to just throw on a lazy Sunday afternoon. I do think it's something that people will want to rewatch and revisit, and like I said, I just had a really good time watching this movie, which is why I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. And with that rating comes the end of my review. Please like this episode, hit the share button, and if you're listening on YouTube, it'd be awesome if you could hit the subscribe button and let me know what you thought of To All the Boys I've Loved Before in the comments section below. I'll be back soon with more reviews, so stay tuned. For now though, thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time.